but we have to do justice, and we only want to discuss things that are important to our, close to our hearts. There's a lot of concern and confusion among the Muslim communities worldwide about this year's Hajj. Is it going to be held? Is it going to be delayed, or say delayed until next year? Because a lot of the Hajj operators, these companies, hotels outside Saudi Arabia, and I'm sure that the impact is there, is being felt there too. What will happen, and when will the Umrah visa or the Hajj visa will be opened? What's happening?
Wallahi, to be very frank with you, I have no idea. Today only somebody sent me a note saying 49 days remaining for Hajj.
Yep.
And I have to check it up. Now, in all honesty, the prime concern of the government here is the coronavirus.
Right.
We heard also today that Malaysia and Indonesia, I think, have scaled down the Hajj or are not sending people. I don't know about other countries,
right,
but I think there will, while there are emotions for people to come,
true,
I think coming in the same numbers is going to be causing havoc, and the disease will spread, because you never know. Hajj could be a token Hajj.
Yes.
Some people were writing, especially in the subcontinent, they are going to ban the word to ban Hajj. Nobody can ban Hajj.
Yep.
But as we have done in Medina and Mecca, limited people to go, social distancing. So I think there'll be very few people coming from outside. I don't think so. Even if tomorrow the government said there is going to be Hajj, it will be on the same scale as on any ordinary year. So Hajj has been affected by pandemic.
Well, it will also, again, any travel, any tourism, where they call it religious tourism, it also comes with a package of economy. See, so the shops are there, they would sell, the hotel industry will suffer. So it will have an economic impact, see, emotional impact as well as economic impact, right?
Well, I agree with you, and I tell you that what happened for the Umrah and the airline stoppage and all, I think it was a very brave decision on the part of the Saudi government, and I don't mince words, you know me, I call a spade a spade. And I think it's a brave decision on the part of the Saudi government to go against the grain of thought of some of the ulama in and out, to curtail the Umrah and then to close the mosques and all. Because I think you look at the larger good, it's not just to protect the Saudis. I mean, imagine these people come and going back to their home countries.
True.
And this coronavirus is going to cause a lot of damage in the next 2 or 3 years. The effects of the coronavirus have yet to be studied. So I think I am for, personally, if you ask me, curtailing of the Hajj, and having very few people, maybe token representatives coming. I have no idea. I'm just speaking out my own personal observations. So to have some token Hajjis and following very stringent health measures. Otherwise, to have the normal Hajj, I don't think so. My gut feeling is you will not going to have that normal Hajj feeling, because already 48 days from tomorrow, and you need the houses and buildings, as you said, the supply chain, tents, mutawif, pilgrim guides. You can't do it within this short period.
True. So most likely it is going to be, say, can't use the word postponed. The Hajj cannot be postponed because it's related to the date from 8th of Dhul Hijjah to 12th or 13th of Dhul Hijjah. See, so we can't postpone the dates, but we can defer it maybe. But you can't have a Hajj in Shawwal or Dhul Qa'dah. You have to have a Hajj in Dhul Hijjah. So just like you can't have Christmas in July. See, so I am really concerned about the impact that it will have on the ulamas of many Muslim countries, you see, because as it is, we stand divided, and we feel very proud about he has a different opinion. We have Barelvis and Deobandis and Islahis and this and that, see, and some will even say Wahhabis. So people have different views, you see. How they will take it and how will the Saudi government handle it, the Saudi ulamas will handle it. To me, that is very appears very problematic.
Well, frankly, as I said, I mean, the quick and outright reaction and the decision-making process regarding the pandemic by the government, by the Ministry of Health, was very instrumental that it did not spread here, because the one thing that one was scared is with all these people who were already here. Remember when the epidemic or pandemic started, and how to get back to hold them. Now, regarding the ulama, I'll be very frank with you. I mean, the ulama should follow what the Holy Prophet spoke about pandemics. Craig Constantine, the gentleman who wrote in Time magazine, they should know that if something is there that affects the larger, population, then I think we have to take measures that are maybe a bitter pill to swallow. Now, you spoke about the Barelvis and the Deobandis and the Islahis and all, primarily from the subcontinent and all. Right. I am really sad to note that these people who are screaming about Salah and mosque, I told some of them that the Mecca and Medina were closed. So what could be a small mosque and pushing people and trying to get in?
True.
Again, I say that the larger good of the people, and this is also done to protect the people coming from outside.
True.
Imagine if they go back to India or Bangladesh or Pakistan or Indonesia and all this spreads. How will the health authorities there be able to come and take care of these people?
Right.
And even here. So I personally believe that, I mean, I'm all for at least readjusting the method of getting pilgrims here, or having some token representatives go for Hajj.
Right. A similar thing had happened in India when there was this conference of Tablighi Jamaat in India, in Delhi, and there was no social distancing, so it was played up by the interested parties, the political leaders, and they blamed them for being responsible for spreading COVID-19. And but sometimes good comes out of the bad. So those people who did suffer from or had the symptoms of the coronavirus, later they donated their stem cells for the improvement of those who were suffering acutely from the virus. So that sometimes it happens like that.
Yeah, but the Tablighi was limited. There were 16,000 people or 12,000 people, and also it was held in Malaysia and Indonesia. And I know somebody from the Gulf who went to Indonesia, a 48-year-old man who died of the corona.
Yep.
And, it was used by those who want to sort of damage the image of Islam and saying that Muslims are spreading corona. And I think this is something that is totally irresponsible to say that, something that you look down upon, the very person who said that. But why reach that situation? The Tablighis are a small group.
True.
But with the Hajj, with 3 million,
True.
It could be really a contagion.
Yes. And it's in a small area, see, Makkah, Mina, Muzdalifah, Arafat, and back again, see. And there's a constant movement of hundreds and thousands of people of different ages. As it is, there are a lot of people who of unstable health, weak, old persons, they do suffer, and a good number of them die. So that is there already, see. So it will be adding trouble to them, and also the spread of the virus will be another fear. Yes, sir.
Well, I agree with you on that, and I think I think any sane person would want to see that all steps should be taken by whatever agency, and there should be a consensus that a large congregation, especially at this period of this the history of the world, this pandemic, would cause a lot, not only to Asia, the Hajjis who are coming from Europe and North America. So I think it's important. Prevention is better than cure.
True, true, true. Prevention is better than cure. And let's go for the prevention first and then think of the cure later. This is a very touchy topic. Black Lives Matter. The world has been overtaken by coronavirus, COVID-19. I was away from London in Middle East somewhere, and I was there until January, see, and I didn't realize that coronavirus is going to take over all of our activities, and if I had stayed long there, I would not have been able to travel back to London, see. But one was coronavirus, and now we have this incident of George Floyd being killed by a policeman, and this has this has been the tipping the scale of our emotions all over the world. Here in this country, in London, there have been demonstrations almost every day. They have been toppling down the statues of racist icons. In the Parliament Square today, they have boarded up the statues of famous leaders. See, I know that you have traveled worldwide, you have lived in America, you have attended Harvard. So, how do you see this? I mean, in Islam, we say every man is equal. See, our Prophet ﷺ in his Khutbatul Wida, he said that there is no distinction between Arab and a non-Arab, and a white person and a black person, and then this person and that person, except taqwa. See, but we have gone so far away from these principles that it's just the color of their skin, and then we have an opinion about somebody's entire character. How do you see this?
I think you see this formulation of these ideas come through upbringing. For a long time, I remember when I was young and we used to see a movie of the cowboys and the Indians, and I see an Indian being killed by John Wayne or Gary Cooper, I would clap, and I'd say, oh yeah, you got it, and so. But later on, as you grow up, and I read about Geronimo, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, you discover how much of atrocities were committed.
Yeah, it was a good guy against a bad guy.
Yes. Now you hear about Leopold of Belgium, and you just check around. Then you heard about so many things in the Bengal famine, and things like that. And then if you do a recollection of history, and I remember a rough, transliteration of a Nigerian, they said, until the lions learn how to write their history, it will always be the hunter's tale.
Right.
So it has always been that. The victors write it, and these people do that. So unfortunately, the people in the Afro-Americans have suffered a lot. We have said that. Many people throughout the world are suffering, the minorities based on religion. The Uyghurs are suffering. So many others have suffered. In Myanmar, they are suffering. And I think it's important that the world stands up. Now, it's okay to stand for one man and all, but I wish also people in America would stand up and talk about Palestine, which has been usurped, where every inch is being taken every day, where atrocities, suppression, oppression is happening, you see. And these are the issues. You cannot be selective in your human rights program. You cannot be selective, you like or not like. It's unfortunate, as is happening. A violation of human rights. We are all humans.
True.
I would
True.
hate to be end of a stick. And this is what I've always said, that we really have to care at a higher level.
You are a champion of peace and human rights. See? How do you see the role of Arabs and Muslims vis-a-vis Palestine and Israelis? Excuse me.
Well, I don't know what is going to happen. In time, you have a government that should be strong enough to sort of thwart these measures being taken. In Israel, you have a right-wing government that is totally oblivious to what their own people are doing. They are not at all in any way willing to listen to any organizations. You have right-wing governments, people like from Brazil in Europe, who are just for the sake of being anti-Muslim, are thinking that we should, sort of give the Palestinians a hit, not knowing that the Palestinians are Christians and Muslims and belong to the Orthodox Church. This is very important. So I think that you cannot be selective in human rights. It's very important to sort of look at the larger picture, and it's also important for us to apprise people. We are the Arabs are very good storytellers, but unfortunately we have not been able to tell our story in the right way to people now, especially younger people who want to look at, unlike the others with the colonial mentality, which is now erased.
What do you think of the future against the background of all these problems that we have talked about, the future for the Muslims and the Arab world? Do you think that the entire Arab world will be united again under one umbrella, like something like OIC, something like Arab League, something like the GCC, and it will be a group like European Union of powerful, economically powerful, politically powerful bloc that could really achieve things for the Muslim countries and the Muslim Ummah worldwide?
It needs political will. It needs statesmanship. It needs leadership. You see, the Arab world, despite its brimming coffers, lacks, a real Arab leadership. And I say, unfortunately, because of dictators, because of military coups, but the Arab people are nice people. I mean, they don't hate each other. They don't dislike each other. I mean, tomorrow, let's say, if Egypt or Libya or even Syria or Iraq is in the finals of a World Cup against another team, my sympathies, despite my opposition to the leadership, would be with the country.
Right.
And this has happening in Saudi Arabia. Playing against someone, by and large, the people would support Saudi Arabia.
Right.
That's besides the point. But I truly believe that there are no role models. Without going into detail, I used to tell some of the people in one of the Arab organizations, be like the EU, the European Union. But now they laugh when they tell me, somebody called me, said, Khaled, you used to always tell us, be like the EU, and now look at Brexit, look at these people fighting. There are no role models anymore. When you said the President of the United States, you used to get goose pimples thinking of Eisenhower or Roosevelt, even Nixon or Kennedy. So we have to have role models, and there are no role models. We have to start finding role models within our own society. But more so, I'm very optimistic. The young Arab people who are educated, who are knowledgeable, who have a different vision of life and want to be, they want to be passengers on the train of progress. They don't want to be mere bystanders.
True.
And I see so much talent, even in Saudi Arabia. That's why I told you I'm very optimistic about the future of this country. In the last 2, 3, 4 years, so many new ideas by young people aged from 24 to 35, 40, having their own businesses, doing things, working, coming up with ideas, playing a role in social affairs, NGOs, and this applies across the Arab world.
Right.
Give them a chance.
Right. Well, most of the Muslim countries, they have the larger number of the population, they are young, educated, energetic. So any message to the youth of the Muslim world from a person like you?
My thing is, have strong and deep faith, improve yourself, and remember not to give up. The road is long and tortuous, and even the road to excellence has no finishing line. So we have to really push and go ahead and try to excel. But the main thing is to have faith that as Muslims, we owe it to ourselves, to our families, that to make this world a better place so that when we leave, you see, we will leave it for everyone else, not only Muslims, for everyone else to be together. At the same time, to try to have tolerance, not to be swayed by certain scholars of division. Do not ghettoize yourself. The world is big. The world is for everyone. Embrace others. Embrace not only tolerance, accept people as they are. And once you do that, it's important. More than that, you have to understand that women in the Muslim world and the young women are coming up. It's important that there should be a whole unity between the young people to work ahead and not divide into us and them.
Thank you very much, sir. One last question. You know, the media today plays a very important role. How to attract young Muslims and Muslimat to the media? Because a lot of people have no faith. They think that this media house is not honest and that media house is not honest. And a particular person has made the word fake news very popular, see. So it bounces around here and there.
Well, I think they should join the media. The media is not a well-paying job these days, but then there are areas, there are books, there are newspapers, there are online, there are blogs. You can really work and try to improve and make an impact. I agree with you that there is a lot of fake news, and it's important to have organizations that discern the pure from the impure, the lies from the truth. This is very important that we have to do. And I think they should go in, not necessarily that you have a major paper like the New York Times or the Guardian or something, but even in small local papers, in small, places where you can focus and talk to people and use websites, use other issues like the Drudge Report. If you remember the other newspapers in America that were small, the Huffington Post, all these started on a small scale. Main thing is to be credible. Credibility is the first issue. Now, you touched a point in which you said that about this media is against us and that media is against us. I agree with you. There are a lot of mean people out there, Mr. Niaz. You could say everything, they could write nonsense. And it's sad that it comes from people who mean harm for us. You know, even somebody said in America, the actor, he said, even paranoids have real enemies. We have some real enemies, right? But we don't have to go and project ourselves through public relation companies and trying to improve our image. We should do it through our own people, indigenous people, try to reach out to other people. This is important. But there are people who, whatever you do, they will always tell wrong things about you. This has happened. We have been a victim here in Saudi Arabia because they lie. Truth has been changed into lies. You know, anything that you do and looked at with disfavor, and I say, look to them, you know, go ahead and do what you want. These people and especially in some of the major newspapers, they write whatever they want. So they are not against us. So also, let's not be paranoid. We come and express our views. We have to have a strong view. We have to have a liberal media. We have to be credible. And I will tell these young people, never be swayed by any pressure from outside.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure and an honor to have you with us. And it would have been a greater pleasure and honor to have you in the studios, but because of the circumstances, we can't travel these days. I would have come to Jeddah to interview you, but that's not possible today. So inshallah, we'll meet again. May Allah bless you, and may Allah protect you from all the harms. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And my compliments to your family.
Thank you. It's been a great pleasure on my side. Thank you very much.
Great to see you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you very much for being with us, our viewers. We hope that you have enjoyed the show as much as we have. And same time, same channel, next week with another very distinguished personality. See you and take care.